What's up, everyone? This is Dr. Webb here. Thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe. New videos coming every week. Today, I have a very special guest. She's going to tell us all about the field of medical marijuana, why she kind of got interested in it and went into it, and some tips for everyone else out there to dispel some myths that are surrounding it, and some other advice for anyone else out there that's going into medicine. Dr. Lynn, welcome tonight. Thank you for coming on.
Having me, Dr. Webb. Really excited to be here and share as much information as I can and answer any questions you need me to.
Awesome. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the viewers out there and tell us who you are and kind of what you do.
Absolutely. Well, my name is Safiya Lyn-Lassiter. I am an emergency medicine physician practicing down here in Miami, Florida. And in addition to that, I started my own business called Ask Dr. Lynn, where you can get more information, qualify, and prescribe medical marijuana. In the state of Florida, in November 2016, we were approved for medicinal use for marijuana, not recreational yet, only medicinal. So you do need a card, a medical marijuana card, in order to be able to access the dispensaries in Florida and gain your medicine that way.
Okay. So going back, you mentioned that you said you are a emergency medicine physician.
Yes.
How did you get into prescribing medical marijuana?
Thank you for asking. So really my initial career in ER kind of led me into this field, especially being down here in Florida. I have the privilege of taking care of a lot of travelers and guests and people who are visiting Florida for the weekend. We have every concert that passes through the city, every rave, every festival. So at one point we were having a lot of people, especially young patients, coming in with drug overdoses and withdrawal symptoms. And it wasn't just regular run-of-the-mill drugs. It was a lot of designer drugs. So like K2, Molly, and ecstasy, and things that were composed of different opiates and benzos and combination medicine that was difficult for us to combat and treat and counteract. So it wasn't just a matter of giving patients a little bit of Narcan and waking them up and observing them for a couple hours until they sobered. We were unable to bring patients back. And there was one point that it was just seemed like overdose after overdose after overdose. And it started to take an emotional toll on me. And I really wanted to find a way or an outlet that I can prescribe safely and offer patients an alternative to Percocet, an alternative to Vicodin, an alternative to Ativan. You know, other medicines that can also treat their ailments, which include things like anti-inflammatory components, pain components, nausea, appetite stimulation, all of those things that medical marijuana is approved to do. So I wanted to get into it in order to be able to give patients an alternative, educate them about medical marijuana, let them know what the benefits are. And really, it's the new wave and hot topic right now. You know, there's always a season for something. And right now in politics and in state legislation, it is a huge factor on the platform for a lot of politicians, and a lot of their campaign is based off of what is your state going to do about medical marijuana and how are you going to incorporate it or ban it. So luckily we are in a position as a emergency medicine physician to be able to take a course, which allows you to get certified and to be able to prescribe. And I live in a state that offers medicinal marijuana. So that kind of led me down that path. Once I got into the business, it was like, all right, how do I promote myself?
Gotcha.
Don't do it through the ER. I have no affiliation with my personal company and the emergency hospital that I work at. So I do this as a side business. I decided to come up with the name, Ask Dr. Lynn.
Yeah.
Website, started with social media outlets for advertising, and really my following came through Instagram and Facebook and just word of mouth. You know, one patient with a great interaction with you tells 10 patients.
Yeah.
That's how I built my personal business, Ask Dr. Lynn. And really, you don't learn that in medical school at all. You don't learn how to be a business person or how to manage a company or how to really invest in yourself. You're always kind of taught to work for a hospital or to kind of work for an institution where you be an academic professor or something along those lines. So this was a whole new avenue for me in terms of trying to figure out what type of businesswoman I want to be and try to figure out how I want to promote my company. In doing that, I said I wanted low overhead and I wanted to be able to be accessible as quickly and easily on real time with my patients. So I decided to take it to, telemedicine. I started Ask Dr. Lyn, and I hooked up with a company called eVisit, and they
Mm.
do regulated patient charting. So patients go online, they answer a few questions about their personal self, they upload their state ID, Florida state issued ID, and they upload their medical records. So I'm able to see everything electronically.
Wow.
Time visit with me. I answer any questions they need to. If they decide to move forward, we schedule a physical exam and we apply. In the state of Florida, it takes about 25 days to actually get a medical marijuana card. So there is a little bit of lag time, but all that information is explained to the patients so they know what they're getting into. And usually by the time they get to the point that they're doing a FaceTime visit with me, they know they want to continue.
Got you. Just briefly, and exactly what you said, that's one thing downside about medicine. They don't teach us the business aspects of medicine. You have to kind of learn it on your own or get an MBA, but yeah, that's one thing that they don't teach us in medicine. Briefly going back, you were in medical school and you applied to emergency medicine to become an EM physician. What was it about EM that got you interested in it kind of back in your medical school years?
Definitely. Well, I had the pleasure of graduating from Meharry Medical College, HBCU,
Okay, awesome.
Nashville, Tennessee, and I really took that opportunity and like went all in. I practiced at a county hospital where, if you know the difference between a private hospital versus a county hospital, you can do anything you want at a county hospital. Patients are just super excited, happy, vulnerable, willing to let you suture them, let you, put in this catheter or try this IV line. They are very excited and welcome the opportunity for students to work with them and engage with them. So I had an awesome experience where I was able to take care of a community in need, and I felt super appreciated. So I learned the type of physician I wanted to be and how I wanted to practice medicine just by observing the interaction for my attendings with other patients. So once I built that character, I took that and really decided, what can I do that matches my personality and lifestyle? For me, it was important to be able to have the flexibility. I have a daughter. She's now 8 years old, but at the time, she was 2.5 when I was going into residency. So with her being still young, I really wanted to have a long-standing career that had the flexibility for me to be able to go to her school plays during the week, take her to doctor's visits, schedule play dates, weekends off here and there. So I wanted something that I could really match that in order to be able to be present for her. That was number one. Number two, I wanted something where I could wear tennis shoes and scrubs. If anybody at this clinic, you are dressed up all day long, and it's just not me. I needed a career that I could be comfortable in, a career that I could be myself in. If you look at my closet, I have more tennis shoes than I have high heels. Something where I can match my outfits.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's one thing I hear about emergency medicine. It gives you that flexibility to do other things outside of medicine that you wouldn't necessarily have the option to do so.
Yeah, you can work at any hour. You can go into a hospital and work. The ER is 24/7. Me personally, I do overnight shifts. That works well for my daughter's schedule and for my household. So I do a lot of overnight shifts, and I'm pretty much doing 12-hour shifts and 10 to 12 of those shifts a month. The rest of the time, I'm working on my personal company, Ask Dr. Lyn, and I teach first-year medical students at Nova Medical School.
Gotcha.
So we have a couple different hats we wear.
Yeah, gotcha. As a physician who prescribes medical marijuana, there are a lot of myths out there that people talk about that maybe you can answer some of those most commonly misconstrued kind of things around medical marijuana. Can you talk about a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Really, number one is just dispelling the notion around marijuana. At one point in time, it was portrayed as more of a recreational, get high kind of drug. Now that we've gotten to the point that it has evolved, it always had medicinal properties. We just had to really find out and determine how to extract those from the plant, from the bud, from the flower, and be able to use it and convert it into a concentrated oil or pill or cream that can provide the best medicinal, benefits. That at this point, what they do is they take the actual plant, it is put into a chamber where it's extracted into a concentrated oil, and that's how you get vape cartridges. Vape cartridges are low TCH cartridges with CBD properties, and you end up vaping them through an electronic cigarette or pen, right? So you are eliminating all the potential toxins from the environment because they're raised in greenhouses. Medical marijuana is grown under lights to decrease the risk of cross-pollination and cross-breeding. You know, when you grow plants outside in the environment, you have the risk of pollen, dirt, you know, different animals, pesticides, things like that. And you're also eliminating the process of smoking. So you don't have the carcinogens and toxins that are going into the lungs because you're vaping. Vaping is when you heat an oil instead of combusting a bud or a leaf. So you don't have those smoking properties, and you're not expelling smoke into the world. So you don't want to have to worry about secondhand, you know, smoke and things like that. So there's a lot of benefits to the process of vaping itself, in addition to the actual product being medicinally useful. As I was saying earlier, it's awesome for preventing nausea, combating pain, anti-inflammatory components. It's actually promoted right now to decrease the progression of HIV and certain cancers and things like that.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, what's important at this point is to get it descheduled. So
That's
right
good.
now, medical marijuana is listed as a Schedule 1 drug. And for those who know, things that are Schedule 1 drugs are things like crack, you know, things that have no medical benefit to the body at all. If it's descheduled to a Schedule 2 drug, at that point, we'll be able to gain government funding to do more research, which will allow us to disseminate better information from controlled testing on the product itself. We're able to really be able to advertise to the population how beneficial it can be with facts and numbers and data, because everything that we do in medicine is evidence-based.
Yep.
Well, we have, you know, those numbers to back up everything that we're discussing.
Yeah. Can any physician go through this training that you did and prescribe marijuana? Or does it depend on the states that you're in?
Absolutely. You've made a perfect point. It is state by state regulated. Okay. Remember, marijuana itself is a federally not approved at all. It is run by the state. These programs, these medical marijuana or compassionate care programs, are organized individually by the state. There's over 30 states right now that have approved medicinal use for marijuana, and over 12 that have approved recreational use, and growing every day, every day. The debate is super hot. It's on the platform right now for, as we were saying, politics earlier, and it's a lot of the deciding basis on how you sway your vote. So it's really important to keep up to date with how your politician feels on the stance of medical marijuana, because there's long-term benefits to be able to tax it, to be able to use those benefits to, you know, fix roads in your city, upgrade schools, things like that. But any physician that has an active, unrestricted medical license that works and resides in a state that has a medicinally approved program is allowed to prescribe once they complete the course that is required. So within medicine, you get your MD or your DO degree, and then you can also get other little sub-degrees. This is an approved license, so it's an adjunct license that you get. It's a course you have to maintain. It's about 2 to 3 hours that you take, and you take it every 2 years in order to maintain your active prescribing license for medical marijuana. And that's different per state. In the state of Florida, it's a 2-hour course. You do it online, you get certified to be able to prescribe, you get entered into the physician prescribing database, which is what approves you. And then from there, it's up to you how you market yourself.
Gotcha.
For people who have a private office, they're able to do it out of their private offices. For some people who work in a hospital like myself, you either are in conjunction with your hospital if they approve for you to do it that way, or you start your own company like I did. So the best benefit for me was to start my own business and kind of advertise that way that I am now prescribing. And having the background of emergency medicine gave me a lot of insight on how I don't want to prescribe.
Yeah,
you know?
gotcha.
To do it in a way that was really customized to the patient's needs. So every prescription I give is tailored to exactly what they're looking for. So the things that I'm prescribing, it's not just a set 5 milligram Percocet, 1 tablet every 6 hours.
Yeah.
As to what that patient needs. So whether it's anti-inflammatory, it's a different strain. Whether it's pain relief, it's a different strain. Whether it's long-term use of smoking marijuana, I'm going to do a higher concentration than starting patients at a lower concentration. Things like that that let me know what you're susceptible to and what you're going to respond well to. Then I have to think about, okay, does this patient have COPD or pulmonary issues or issues that would prevent them from being able to vape? For example, one of my patients has esophageal cancer. So I know taking with him. Instead, he does pills. Things like that you have to really modify how you prescribe in order to tailor to the patient's needs. Remember, this is all a cash business.
Yeah.
So every time you go to a dispensary, you're spending cash only. There's no insurance involvement. There's nothing to offset the cost. Each vape cartridge ranges from $30 to $42, depending on the dispensary you're at. To get the pen is around $50, $55. And, if you look at their list online of products available, it ranges anywhere from $30 to $75, just depending on what you're getting from the market. So I want to try to give you the best prescription that gives you the maximum relief with the minimal amount of medicine. So finding that balance with my patients is very individualized. So I take the time to really kind of focus on what their needs are.
Got you. Do you get any pushback or slack when you first started doing this, or even now from your colleagues about prescribing?
Yeah,
and how do you respond to that?
So you got to remember, medicine itself is a traditional profession.
Yeah.
So things that are new to the market and that have not been confirmed or have not been verified by this research project or this protocol study, or something that can prove evidence-based response, people are leery about, physicians are leery about, because they don't have anything to back up, any data to back up how they're going to prescribe. There's no formula to it. So everyone that's doing it, some people are just doing a generic, everyone gets the same prescription. Whereas others like myself who've taken the time to really study the medicine, understand that it has to be customized in order for it to be effective. I got a lot of pushback initially. A lot from my traditional mentors and physicians who didn't believe in the product, number one, didn't take the time to learn about it, and really just feel like it doesn't have any proven medicinal benefits on paper.
Gotcha.
Documented studies.
Yeah.
So they weren't willing to open their mind to receive how the patients were responding. And that's my biggest selling point. I don't even have to advertise. Patients will tell another patient, oh my gosh, I was able to get off of my Vicodin by being able to use my vape, or I was able to, decrease the amount of Xanax I've been using by using my vape, things like that. They are advertising. So all I have to do is make sure that we find a good medium and a good mesh and able to prescribe for them in a way that helps them. I don't have to do anything else.
Yeah.
Other patients and gaining patients for me,
That's awesome. Yeah.
But yes, it was a lot of pushback, and still, hospitals and administrators don't feel comfortable in advertising for it. And really, it's something that you will find when you start. Everyone's not going to be on your journey with you. So you have to be strong-minded, and you have to be willing to ride the wave and just stand up for what you believe in. And it's something that I'm passionate about. It's something that I want to dispel the myths amongst the community. That's why I take the time to do a lot of education and teaching with my patients. And hopefully we'll all kind of get to the point that it'll be a first option and not a last option for relief for patients.
Yeah, and that's really interesting. Looking forward to seeing how this kind of progresses and other states kind of come along and join because of, the opioid epidemic and everything going on with that. So
definitely, it's been widely available in California since the 90s. It only gained popularity in Florida in 2016, and at this point we are over 30 states approved. So we only got a couple. Well over 60% of the way.
Yeah. What advice would you give to students out there who want to not only go into medicine, but a physician who wants to prescribe medical marijuana? What kind of advice would you give either of those?
So let's start with the students. Students, number one advice is focus on your school. That's really all you need. You can't do any of this extra stuff without getting your MD or DO degree. So focus on school. Perform well on your boards, get out, start practicing. Once you start practicing in residency, you're able to apply for a DEA license. Once you have your DEA license, you're able to take the course if you're in a state that allows you to prescribe medicinally. Once you get that approval, then you can be entered into the database to start prescribing for patients. So this is something that I tell a lot of my students, if you're interested in this, you don't have to wait till the end of residency to start. Start your research now. Start figuring out how you want to incorporate this into your lifestyle. Start figuring out how you want to educate your patients and what kind of business you want to run. Do you want to partner with pain management clinics in order to prescribe that way? Or do you want to do something for solo? So those are all kind of little seeds that I drop on my students. But the biggest thing is graduate from medical school, residency, get your DEA license, and then take your course in whatever state you're in that approves you to be able to prescribe. Once you get through all that and you're actually allowed to prescribe, then start getting into your business plan on what type of marijuana physician you want to be. For physicians practicing in the state of Florida, education is the greatest thing. If you don't believe in what you're doing and it doesn't come off as authentic to your patients, no one is going to believe you, and you're not going to be a good advocate or prescriber. As I was saying earlier, customizing your prescription to the patient needs is what is going to get you the maximum relief, the best response from the patient, and you're really going to start to see the decrease in the number of narcotic prescriptions that you're personally giving. With the new rules, especially that were implemented over the summer for narcotic prescribing through the emergency room, you're only allowed a maximum of 3 days. You have to do, a maximum of 3 days only, nothing more at all. It's very strict in terms of how to prescribe narcotics in the ER now. So it's eliminated a lot of the drug seeking and a lot of the rebound from overprescribing. Yeah. This is a great way to offer relief to your patients and a more holistic approach. So if you believe in the product and you taught yourself, spoke to other physicians who have the same background as you, get into the culture. The biggest thing that starting Ask Dr. Lyn has done for me is it's opened a new door to a community that has always been there, but they've accepted me and let me in now. So now I feel like not only am I learning about the medicine, but I'm learning about the effects, I'm learning about the benefits, I'm learning about different ways to use cannabis in cooking, in solves, and different products that help provide other forms of relief. So it's not just, the medicinal component. I'm learning about the recreational component too, which has many other self benefits. So it's amazing, but you gotta believe in what you're doing. And if you have reservation or fear, that's gonna be detected by your patients and the community, and it's not gonna be original. So make sure you choose whatever you decide to do, that you choose an avenue that works for you personally, because I think that is really important in trying to figure out what type of physician you want to be. And you just have to have an unrestricted, active medical license in order to be able to apply for the course and be able to qualify in your state. So look on your Department of Health guidelines, and there should be a compassionate care component or a medical marijuana office in the Department of Health, and that's organized by your state.
Gotcha. Well, that's some really good advice. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. If anyone wanted to contact you or even see you as a patient, how can they do that?
Definitely. Please go to my website, www.askdoctor.com. On my website, you can access me through the e-visit link that is on the website. You can answer a lot of your questions and information. I try to post blogs every 2 weeks about what's going on in the industry and how things are evolving. And my most common and frequently accessed internet outlets are Facebook and Instagram. I also do a lot of live things on there as well too. So you can type in your questions while I'm talking and be able to get feedback immediately. If you have a question, you can always inbox me or DM me. And then my office number is 305-487-0902. All of that information is available online.
Awesome. And I'll put the websites, the phone number in the description below. One last question. Do the patients have to be in Florida to receive a license from you?
Yes. So I practice in the state of Florida.
Okay.
Approved to prescribe in the state of Florida. So my recommendations are made for Florida residents only. I'm in the process of obtaining my New York and California licenses. And once that is complete, then I'll be able to work with those patients as well. But my primary location and focus right now is Florida, because that's where I live, that's where my community is, and that's where I try to really involve myself and be able to get into the culture down here.
Well, Dr. Lynn, thank you so much for coming on tonight, and it's really interesting to kind of learn about this. I had no idea that it was that there's physicians out there that they're specializing in their main specialty, and you can do this on the side. So even I'm learning as well.
It'll transition to be the primary pain relief in the next couple of years for sure. So it's important that even if you don't actively prescribe, you at least know about the product and you know about the benefits, so you can teach your patients and inform your patients. Misinformation is the biggest thing we want to dispel about medical marijuana. And at least if you can't prescribe, narrate them and direct them to the directory of physicians who are able to prescribe. So if you can't give them what they need, allow them to have access to other physicians.
Got you. Dr. Lynn, thank you so much for coming on tonight, and I really appreciate you. Real inspiration to all of us out here.
Thank you. Keep doing the great work, Dr. Webb. I think your show is amazing. I think what you're doing and promoting various types of medical physicians and different types of jobs in the community of medicine are really important, because there's no one avenue. Everybody has a different story. Everybody has a different route, and most of them are non-traditional routes. So it's important to highlight that. Keep pushing whatever it is, keep pushing at it, and keep going for your dream.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And for everyone else, thank you for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe. New videos coming every week. You don't want to miss them. We'll see you next time.
Bye.